Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Anita Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up, we meet a group of volunteers in Malaysia who work to finalize the stage setup prior to the opening of the Water Repentace Sutra musical. A young man from Malaysia decided to cut his backpacking trip short to offer his assistance in quake-torn Nepal. Lastly, teachers and students of Ming Yih Primary School in Hualien, Taiwan hold a final Thanksgiving event at the school prior to its reconstruction. Behind the scenes of the musical adaptation of the Water Repentace Sutra in Malaysia, a lot of hard work and effort had been put into decorating the venue prior to opening day. Let's take a look.
Patches of newly sprouted rice seedlings arrive at the performance venue ready to be part of the Buddha's altar decoration. In order for the seedlings to stay fresh, volunteers water them 3 times a day.
These rice seedlings come from a local village. They were originally in a paddy field, so they need lots of water to stay fresh.
Also, a part of the decoration is this white cloth with words from sutra texts written on it, which has been in use for nearly 5 years.
When the sutra adaptation was performed in Taiwan and Singapore, they used this backdrop. Now here in Malaysia, we are using it as well. But we are faced with the challenge that the cloth is too short for our venue.
Besides lengthening the backdrop, Tzu Chi volunteer Zhu Guochai also mends it by hand. With years of use, it is full of rips and holes.
I'm in the cloth industry, and in my professional opinion, it was not suitable for use. But Manager Shaw suggested that we could just add new cloth to it. We added about 8 inches, and that's quite suitable now. Behind me is the main stage, and over here is the on-stage performance resting area. As this is the basement level, the humidity is quite strong here. To cover up the mildew smell, Tzu Chi volunteers have come up with a solution.
This is to absorb the smell of mildew. When you go into that room, the smell is strong, but here we're using charcoal to absorb it, and pandan leaves act as an air freshener.
The result is that it is not only an air freshener, but also a beautiful decoration. Volunteers make sure every corner of the venue is clean and tidy to welcome all those coming forth to the performance.
Among those taking part in the Water Repentace Sutra musical are 2 performers who rectified their bad habits after gaining a better understanding of the sutra. Let's take a look at how their lives have been transformed through their participation.
On-stage volunteer Ye Guilan is a career woman who almost committed a crime when she filed tax returns on behalf of her company this year.
I did
not purchase computers this year or last year. As I entered the number into the spot for the tax deduction item, I saw the blank for reimbursement for additional tax, and greedy thoughts came to my mind. When I was about to enter false information, my computer crashed, so I had more time to think. Then the line from the sutra, "Let us repent for giving rise to greed when enticed by money, and for failing to observe these precepts," came to my mind, and I woke up.
Ye now reminds herself to be upright with the volumes of Jingsi aphorisms displayed in her office. In the past, her subordinates shunned her out of fear.
Upon her arrival at the company, everyone was afraid of her. We are afraid to go near her because she is hot-tempered and difficult to communicate with.
Besides being tough at work, Ye is a strict mother at home.
If we forgot to put something back, she'd start scolding us, saying we misplaced something.
She suspected me of having affairs. When I came home late, she would not let me sleep and acted violently, pulling my hair, biting and hitting me. In the past, she was rather hot-tempered, but she is more considerate now.
The sutra adaptation gave Ye and her husband the opportunity to perform together and find their family warmth again.
忏悔，不用紧，慢慢来。耳根长寿，生成佛，好生能让耳根着。
Another onstage volunteer, 19-year-old college student He Zhe, has a lot more to share with his mother now that both are taking part in the sutra adaptation. He also helps his mother review the sign language movements at home.
I am lagging behind a bit, and sometimes I make the wrong gestures. I also lack imagination.
要合掌，之前那个师姐有讲过。
I learned drawing before, so I can easily think of some special or bright drawings for Mom to picture the moves.
画像啊，让妈妈去想象咯。
There is the phrase, merciless acts of hurting other living beings. When I can't remember how to gesture merciless, he tells me, Mom, remember firm muscles represents merciless. Then I will remember it.
From their many practice sessions, this mother and son pair became more familiar with the moves. He's habit of speaking out carelessly on social networking sites also changed.
I realized that vicious words often hurt other people. Unwholesome speech hurts me while leaving a bad impression on other people. As a result, I'm creating bad karma, which leads others to create bad karma. So I stopped leaving messages unscrupulously.
One time, He got stuck at his school's entrance, but his patience and consideration refrained him from getting into a conflict.
He told me that, Mom, I want to scratch that person's car. But he tamed his temper, and I was very happy to hear him tell me, Look, Mom, I've tamed my bad temper.
The sutra's teachings have guided He in refraining from making careless remarks or getting into conflicts with people, and it will also help him form more positive affinities with those around him.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Nepal are often joined by other volunteers ready to lend a helping hand. Recently, they were joined by a young man from Malaysia who decided to cut his backpacking trip short to offer his assistance in the quake-torn country.
First moving heavy items, next climbing up to hang a banner, Yang Shuangyi is helping Tzu Chi volunteers with an aid distribution. He is here to repay the kindness that a Nepalese couple showed him in the immediate aftermath of the earthquake in April.
They really had a heart of compassion. They made me feel at ease. They understood that I was a tourist, but they still wanted to help me to the best of their ability.
Yang's original plan was to backpack through India and Nepal for half a year searching for happiness. Yet when the earthquake struck, he cut his trip short and returned to Malaysia.
I left because of the dangers of the aftershocks. However, after a week at home, I felt as if something was calling me.
Thus, Yang returned to Nepal once more, not for himself, but for the quake victims. He sought out Tzu Chi as he had seen firsthand the power of Tzu Chi's companionship during tough times.
My mother was really reliant on my father, and when he passed, she had no focus. I suggested that perhaps she could get to know some Tzu Chi volunteers. She's been in Tzu Chi for 2 years now, and she's much better now.
Today, he is alongside the Tzu Chi volunteers, adding to his lifetime of happiness.
The locals are very adorable. Seeing them receive the gifts from Tzu Chi, the happiness and smile on their faces is infectious.
Now that Tzu Chi's assistance in Nepal has entered its mid to long-term phase, the NGO's disaster relief and medical team will soon be pulling out of the country. Hence, Tzu Chi volunteers have been cultivating several local volunteers, whom they hope will one day take up the baton of love. With name lists in hand, Tzu Chi volunteers break into teams to get a better understanding of where and in what way their help is needed in the community. Their dedication to the cause once more inspiring those around them.
Our house is backside of my house and it was totally damaged and it has not been cleaned also. So I'm feeling very well that if I could help her.
As volunteers carry out the visitations to the same exacting standards as in Taiwan, they make sure to instruct the local volunteers who accompany them and will one day replace them.
Just don't borrow the person there, okay? So you ask, are you convenient to see us or something, and then check with them. Okay. Yeah, and you have to respect them a lot.
We hope they will write all these details down, as in the future it will be they who will carry out these visits. Each group will be assigned an area and a leader. We hope to coordinate in this way.
Many of the local volunteers are themselves quake victims and therefore recognize the value of the aid Tzu Chi is bringing.
If we can do something like by Tzu Chi, if you can do something, I think we should provide education materials and like scholarship to the students, because education is the most important thing in our life.
As Tzu Chi moves into its second phase in Nepal, volunteers are making sure that their message of love finds strong roots in the hearts of the country's volunteers. At the Bajaswari Higher Secondary School in Nepal, where Tzu Chi recently delivered 6 prepared classrooms, volunteers organized a tea ceremony where students took a moment to show their respect and gratitude to their teachers.
Students and administrators of Bagaswari's Higher Secondary School solemnly line up as they prepare to offer their school's teachers a cup of tea.
The principal and assistant principal of the school are very strict and demand the best from us teachers. However, apart from the job, they are very kind to us, and we are in fact like friends.
To ensure that the tea ceremony went off without a hitch, the day previous, students and the principal went over the ceremony step by step more than 20 times.
We are very grateful to them and we respect them so that students can learn from them very well.
Nepal has a long tradition of honoring teachers, and thus the idea of the tea ceremony was quickly embraced.
If the students cannot offer gifts satisfactory to the teacher, then it is believed that students can't learn very well.
The principal and teachers also gathered to learn more about Tzu Chi and its teachings through Jingzi aphorisms. Following, several teachers got on the stage to express their gratitude for Tzu Chi's presence here in Nepal.
Feel a bit comfortable because after you, we feel that there is some bad force behind us. I don't know what to say because I feel happy that.
Here in Nepal, love is being used to slowly rebuild the country and create new hope for all alike.
Among the schools Tzu Chi is assisting as part of its reconstruction project in Hualien County is Ming Yih Primary School, as construction is scheduled to begin when summer vacation starts. On June 29th, students and teachers held one final event at the school.
The cards hung outside the classroom window represents the thanks everyone has for this building.
During recess, we would play in its corridor.
Because of it, we have a place to learn.
Despite recovering from a recent surgery, Wu Shuiyun, who is the former mayor of Hualien County, an alumnus and the former principal of Ming Yih Primary School, also joined this historic moment.
As a former student of this school, I cherish this opportunity. I hope through this occasion, everyone will know that education, gratitude, reciprocation, and the nurturing of talent are all important ideals to carry out.
Built in 1933, Ming Yih Primary was once one of the biggest primary schools in eastern Taiwan. The school building has suffered much wear and tear over the past 82 years, and thus, when summer starts, Tzu Chi plans to rebuild the school's 45-year-old Mingguo building.
Actually, we will miss the building, but we look forward to the students getting a better classroom and better facilities. So I really want to thank all the people involved.
Transforming their sadness into music, the students celebrate a lifetime of happiness within these walls with a musical performance.
The old building was influential on our path of education, and although memories of the building will remain in our hearts, we want to teach the students lessons on cherishing their new classrooms once the new building is complete.
Fondly remembering the good times they had in the old building, the students opened their arms to welcome the new building to be built by Tzu Chi's Project Hope.
In Taiwan, joining the Tima Northern Chapter on its most recent free clinic in New Taipei City's Ruifang and Shanzhi were medical interns of the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital. Taking part in a medical outreach for the first time, these interns realized that healing the body isn't just about prescribing medication.
Getting into the carts, 91-year-old Xie Jinliang and his wife, who suffered a stroke, can easily get to their vegetable garden from the steps of their home.
I can take her to the vegetable garden. If I'm working in the garden, she will sit on the side. This way, she can see me and I can see her.
This cart was designed by Xie's son to help him get around more easily. Xie and his wife's simple yet loving lifestyle has many of the Tima members wishing for the same at their age.
We are also getting up there in age, and thinking about the loving relationship of that husband and wife makes us feel warm inside. They are blessed to have each other.
I'm very glad. We don't normally get this many people in our house to chat with us. We are naturally outgoing. My wife is the same too. She enjoys other people's company.
These free clinics in remote areas not only look after the health of residents, but also their mental well-being. While medical students do their internship at the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, realize the complexity of practicing medicine upon setting foot inside the patient's homes.
If the resident doctor prescribes medicine for chronic illness, but the patient doesn't accept their condition, then they won't take the medication as prescribed.
Trying their best to communicate in Taiwanese, these young doctors close the distance between patient and doctor in order to best help these patients in need.
On June 28th, Tima members from the Northern Chapter visited Ruifang once more to bring medical services to the remote mountain region. In total, close to 80 Tima members, Tzu Chi volunteers and doctors from Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital joined the free clinic to make sure that residents' needs were taken care of.
Early Sunday morning, Tima members gather at the Ruifang Activity Center to begin their free clinic in the area. While volunteers are busy setting up the medical equipment, medical students are preparing oral health lessons for residents. Next, volunteers from Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital separate into 9 teams and follow the volunteers to conduct house calls for those patients who are unable to leave their home. During one of the home visitations, doctors and volunteers found 65-year-old Miss Liao with a high blood sugar level of 468, twice the number of an average person. As it turns out, Miss Liao was afraid of giving herself a shot of insulin for her diabetes. Thus, the nurse helped Miss Liao with the injection and also taught her the correct way to take care of her diabetes.
Doctors are, of course, a big help. You're a big help too. I'm afraid of giving myself a shot, but now that I've had my insulin, I feel much more at ease.
Miss Liao's eldest son had a stroke 6 years ago and is unable to clearly explain his problems with words. However, the doctors patiently come to understand he's troubled by skin problems on his left hand. Superintendent Zhao then took a picture with his smartphone and sent it to a dermatologist to diagnose.
Ask him if he's taking anticoagulants medication. It's a possibility that that's why the hand that is affected by the stroke does that.
We use this method in Nepal as well, so that we can immediately send information back to Taiwan. Today we are sending a medical problem from here to Director Wang, who's at the free clinic venue, so that she can guide us to treat the patient. I think this method is very helpful and should be used regularly from now on.
This bi-monthly free clinic in Ruifang of New Taipei City, held by Tima's Northern Chapter in collaboration with Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, has brought medical care to this remote region. After today, volunteers hope that more medical personnel will join their ranks to provide residents of this area with much-needed medical care. Meanwhile, on the 27th, preparation for their free clinic already began in Ruifang. Many Tzu Chi volunteers have gathered to help set up the free clinic venue here at Gamping Boro Community Activity Center.
We hope many residents will come to the free clinic to get their health checked. That's our goal. So if we run into obstacles, we'll just overcome them one by one.
As the free clinic also offered X-ray services, volunteer Ling Wuji was put in charge of running the electrical wires to the venue. Though he was running around underneath the scorching sun, Lin did not see it as tiring.
I was assigned the task of running the electricity lines today. I'm very happy that I can give within my ability.
Triple checking their tasks at hand, the volunteers hope their time and effort will pay off as patients come forth and get their ailments taken care of.
During Labor Day weekend in China, tourists left up to 8 tons of garbage at Tiananmen Square in one day, much of which could have been recycled. To promote the idea of waste reduction and recycling, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hebei and Hubei recently visited community squares and tourist destinations with an important message. Let's take a look.
At tourist spots and religious carnivals where crowds gather, Tzu Chi volunteers urge tourists to maintain the beautiful scenery. In the crowd, a man with a plastic water bottle became an example of a consumption behavior to avoid.
Bring your own water bottle and do not buy bottled drinks, all right? You are giving us the plastic bottle? Okay.
Besides explaining the practice of recycling, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hebei also work to collect recyclables at tourist destinations. Meanwhile, at this community square, Tzu Chi volunteers joined by college students display posters promoting the importance of conservation.
From the perspective of someone who studies medicine, I think we should begin with changing our daily habits and reduce trash.
Besides promoting recycling, elderly volunteers also attend to growing vegetables.
I planted pumpkins, Chinese squash, and soybeans. I give them to others.
These senior volunteers protect the environment by growing organic vegetables and have felt a sense of fulfillment in doing so.
I've become more open-minded and have learned to let go.
This volunteer no longer immerses herself in the sorrow of her husband's death, as together with other volunteers, she shares her vegetables and joy with others.
As visual and lighting effects really helps to bring a show to life and draw the audience deeper into the performance, a crew from Taiwan's Daai TV arrived in Malaysia to assist with the lighting effects of the Water Repentace Sutra musical. Thank you for watching Tzu Chi This Week. Goodbye.